I feel like the Sartorius is a bit of like the brother to the ITB-TFL combo, right? So if you look at your anatomy where you get the TFL up here, it's connected to the ITB, which finishes down past the knee on the outside here. It's a funny one because it's a short muscle with a really long tendon, right? But it's like a strap that comes down here, and then you've got the Sartorius, which starts close to the same spot as the TFL, but it crosses the other way and finishes on the inside of the knee, past the knee down here. What's up, guys? Elliot here at MMT with Ninj.
Hello.
How you guys going? So today's video, we're going to be talking about Sartorius. What's the Sartorius? It's the longest muscle in the human body, apparently.
Yep.
And every fiber is one human cell, right, of muscle fiber. So it's actually the largest largest cell in the body. It comes from your Sartorius.
Really?
Yeah, or the longest.
Longest cell.
Yeah. So little fun fact there. Love the fun facts. So what I want to talk about it is it gets often overlooked because it's a bit of a strange muscle. It's not like a muscle like a bicep or a quad, which we can easily understand what the function is because it has a few assisting functions that we have. Where is it? Let's have a look at the map over here. So that's the Sartorius there, that strap that comes straight down through here. So you can see it's attached to your iliac crest there of the pelvis, and it comes all the way down here and goes past the knee and inside the tibia on the inside there, right? So it's actually part of the pes anserine as well, where three muscles and tendons join on that inside there, and it's the front one that comes across. We've got one that goes down the middle and then one that comes from the hamstring. Okay, so it joins those three there and it attaches down here. Can be a source of knee pain, but it can also create a tethering, tying down mechanism which can limit the function of the leg there. So I've had two cases in this last year where treating the Sartorius has changed the function of the person and actually helped with their pain. The first was a knee pain. This person had trouble straightening their knee, and they were getting limitation back there. So as they went to straighten the knee there, they would feel tightness in the hamstring, they'll be guarding up. And so we'd be treating the hamstring and the calf there, loosening that up, and the knee extension started to improve, so they're getting more range there. Then they started feeling like this pinching pain at the front. So it was kind of like a general pinching pain through here. So I was working into a bit of the shin, along the patella tendon, the quad tendon, and even into the pes anserine, which is here. And it was just kind of very marginal, it wasn't really improving. And then once we worked a bit further up through here, there's a lot of reactivity. So when you work on a reactive muscle, you see some twitching going on, the person's quite sensitive to it. So it's a sign, it's a clue that you're onto something there. And within a few minutes of doing that, that person's thighs start to get really red. It's a bit of a reaction. Once we release that muscle, blood flows back in through there, but they were able to straighten their knee all the way like that and not feel that compressive pain there. So it was a good clue to figure out what was going on in that person's problem. And then the other case I'll mention as well is I had a client who had this groin pain every time he externally rotated. You feel like this kind of sharp pinching his groin. So I was getting to the adductor, getting to the hip flexors, and they were kind of just minimal in terms of improving things. This client was the one who suggested, he went up to the chart and said, hey, can you just try that and see what happens? I was like, all right, give it a go. Worked into that, got the reaction there, and then he was like, oh wow, I can feel so much better in that movement there. So in his case there, that muscle was acting like a tight strap, limiting the way that the leg could roll. And so he got stuck there, the body's trying to compensate somewhere else, and it was compensating in his groin. Okay, so sometimes it can get a bit complicated, but you just, let your reasoning do the work there. This isn't working, let's try something else. Okay, so wax there. You don't need too much wax when you do this, but how we want to identify it on our landmarks there is, there's the pelvic crest. So it starts here and it works its way down like this, comes as a strap across the thigh and finishes down through here. Right, so you can work anywhere along that line if you want to, and try to get that release to happen. We can start though today at our attachment point down low, so the pes anserine. So position the client comfortably where we can see the area that we want to start working at. Here's the tibia, and that's where the three tendons finish and join. And for some people, it can be quite sensitive here. So I'll start by just using my thumb here to feel out what's going on here. We're feeling okay there, Ninj?
Yep, feels good.
So get some feedback from the client. And even though we've designated that tendon finishes there, it doesn't mean that the story ends there, right? It actually continues down into the tib post. So some people with shin splints or some tib post, if you're doing some tib post work, you might be finding that you're scooping up into the tib post, getting behind that tibia here, really releasing the tissue through here, but then you can work into the pes anserine as well. So this stuff here. Just obviously monitor your client, make sure that you're not stirring anything up that is quite sensitive. So if it is super sensitive there, just work at that safe barrier. We're here to help, not to harm. And so here I'm kind of applying like a bit of a shearing pressure. So I'm not just pinning straight down, I'm kind of coming across here. So there's fibers like this, and we're trying to help it unwind.
It's a good connection. Feels really good to have that worked.
Yeah, especially with the attachment points there, like, this region here does support the MCL, so it's going to have a bit of force going through it, and where it attaches there, you can pull on the periosteum of the bone, and over time that can have like a very inflammatory effect on the attachment. So people get the knee pain, especially on the inside of their knee, and they might get a scan and someone said, oh, you've got a bit of arthritis there, right? But the x-ray is actually showing maybe reduced cartilage or reduced joint space. That's a sign of arthritis, but not necessarily the sign of where the pain is.
Yep.
It's actually quite interesting. There are some people with bone on the x-ray and no pain.
Yep.
What's going on there?
Yep.
Or plenty of joint space, there's plenty of cartilage, but severe pain.
Yep.
Right? So what we're not able to see with that x-ray is what's actually happening at this attachment point there. Okay. Nerve endings get sensitized. That's what's triggering the pain signal. But you just can't see it on scans. I say this all the time. So we're going to use our heads to figure out, okay, where's that noise coming from? Okay, so after you've warmed up the area and worked through the attachment point there, you can start migrating up here. And so you might be doing a bit of work through the VMO, which is the lower quad. So Ninja's VMO at the moment feels pretty good.
What does VMO stand for?
Vastus medialis oblique.
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 I never know what the O is. That's a bit of a trick one, isn't it? You got to know your anatomy for that.
Yeah.
Know what the O is.
So the VMO really refers to this bit here. So you see me flick over like that. Right? Those are the oblique fibers, and then they attach to your patella and patella tendon. Right? So people who've had patella tracking problems where the kneecap is kind of not going up and down properly, it's kind of being drifted off to the side there. The VMO is shut down or weak. And we actually see that after knee injury and knee surgeries. Oh, yep, here's a good spot here. The VMO gets shut down. I've seen it before with a tennis player with very well-defined legs, but after he had knee surgery, this turned into a gutter. It was just flat. Right, so helps to control that kneecap and keep it in its groove, but also is fully active when we go into end range extension. So we'll really lock out that knee. When you lock out, that's that VMO doing that last bit. And so if you're working with a client that's going through knee rehab, they're trying to strengthen their VMO, their quad, their knee lockout. And sometimes in those early days there, they can get a bit overworked, a bit too shortened in those fibers. So if the fibers are short there, it's very difficult for you to try to get more contraction out of them. This can really help them. They're doing their best in their rehab, and we've got to help them recover from that as well. Okay, so now I'm just tracing further up. Now we're actually just following the sartorius of where it lies. And this is where that junction is, kind of around here. And we can actually see on the inch, there's a bit of a...
That's a money spot.
Yeah. So you might pick it up, there it is. So just watch here.
Pin up into it.
Yeah, see that little twitch there?
Yep.
So sorry, Ninja, this can be a bit provocative. And I'm not using too much force. It's just about getting the right angle. And so I can feel like the medial quad, I'm kind of scooping underneath, pulling up, and then pinning up into like that. And then every now and then you'll see like tiny little flickers there. It just means that we're in a reactive spot. There it is again. So those tiny little flickers. Off it goes. There it is. There. Again, not using too much force. Because obviously with enough force you can crush anyone's muscle and send a harmful reaction. And so we're just trying to free that tissue up there. So the sartorius is my, target that I'm thinking about. But what we're really trying to do is get those layers to glide smoothly. So if that muscle is coming down here and it's been contracted or injured over time, it's going to become like a wire tying down that medial quad, right? And then the layers start sticking to each other. So part of this kind of body work is about unsticking the tissue, getting things to flow nicely. So a great one to do on, like I said, people with knee issues or recovering from knee issues. But yeah, I think over time with a lot of people, it's just like every other money spot where gradually over time it's just going to start sticking. So low-hanging fruit. You know, when you're trying to treat people, they're looking for those areas where they commonly get tight or congested. Great for recovery, but also if you've got clients working on just maintenance or just trying to keep them from getting too stagnant, spots like these are great. How we going there, Ninj?
Yeah, good. Getting a good view. Bang for buck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're going to get the most results, most opportunity for gains, benefits, healing.
So yeah, definitely like be nice and gradual and predictive with your force and your movement. Always explain to your client what's going on, right? They're fully involved in this process because they need to feel that the area feels safe to work into, right? And maybe the client's being quite nice to you or polite, but actually they're still quite on edge. So just really reading what's going on, and if they're okay, if they feel look a bit jumpy there, then a spot like this, and if you're going hard with your thumbs there, can be a bit intense and threatening. So you might have to withdraw and go to like a bit of a palm approach. And you can still get a good release by doing this. It's much broader, but can provide that feeling of safety. Yeah, not much force is needed again. We're just trying to spread those fibers, get some sliding happening. Yeah, so anywhere kind of near the inner thigh on both men and women can be a bit more vulnerable, a bit more sensitive there. So really like being clear with your actions and your intentions, letting the client be involved in the process as much as possible there. Yeah, so just to kind of add a bit more to this is spots are good when you treat them. You can also explore like different angles and presentations. So you can bring it a bit more medial like this. That's going to shorten a bit of it, but at least you can get a feel for the shape, or go further up and feel for where that strap crosses over the quad is also a good spot too. And so, interestingly, I feel like the sartorius is a bit of like the brother to the ITB-TFL combo, right? So if you look at your anatomy where you get the TFL up here, it's connected to the ITB, which finishes down past the knee on the outside here. It's a funny one because it's a short muscle with a really long tendon, right? But it's like a strap that comes down here, and then you've got the sartorius, which starts close to the same spot as the TFL, but it crosses the other way and finishes on the inside of the knee, past the knee down here. So you can imagine there's like two wires coming down the leg there, and they're kind of like holding it in place. So they don't have a big prime mover action like your quads do, extending your knee. They're more of a stability control, right? Trying to keep us stable when we're walking, when we're jumping and landing like that, just trying to hold the thigh in place, right? But it's all part of the whole machinery, so we don't want them to do all the work either. Okay, where am I? I'll stick to here.
You can feel it flick over a
Yeah.
spot there.
So actually if we, let's try a slight change actually. I'll get you to shuffle this way an inch. And we're gonna bend the knee a bit more, then externally rotate. So a bit more here. Yeah, I think that's what I wanna do. And then you can play around with this lower part here. So remember, it crosses down through here. So if we bend and straighten the knee there, we sort of change the angle of where those tendons finish. So again, gives you an idea of like where things are needing more movement and flow. Yeah, so here's good. There it is.
Money.
Yeah, it's a fun one to do. Try it out with like your clients that present with some knee troubles, recovering from knee issues as well. You know, just take your time, monitor the safety of it all. Like I said, it can have an influence on the hip because it does go quite far up. So even some of your clients with some hip issues or instability around the upper leg. Yeah, so I guess like I said, the shearing, what do we say, lubrication, we're trying to get sliding between layers happening.
Yep.
It's a very underestimated problem or an effect in the body, especially when it comes to scarring, right? So I'm working with a client right now who's had a few knee surgeries and he's got a few scars from when they've gone in. And when you work around like the tissue down here where there's scarring, see how this can easily slide very nicely like that? That's healthy lubrication of tissues there. It actually moves quite nice. So you know that when Ninja's running and bending his knee, that's sliding nicely. But when we have scarring from surgeries or from injuries like that, the tissue can get quite stuck and can go all the way down to the bone. So as they try to bend and move, that's not moving so nicely. Okay, so if you or someone you know has gone through a surgery where there's been a cut there, we want to help the wound healing, making sure it's nice and clean and joining nicely, but also get some work happening around the scar tissue. You know, don't wait until 2 months later, you know, and then start doing it then. You can actually start doing it quite early. All right, so chat to your surgeon or your nurse about it as well, just making sure that it's all dressed correctly and you're working within a method that's not going to introduce infection, but really get that scar going. It's very underestimated. Alrighty, so that's the Sartorius there. Hope you've learned something. Give it a go, give it a crack with some of your clients. You know, take your time, really explore it, have a look at the anatomy there and just, you know, appreciate like how intricate all that is. All right, get it done.
Done.